You've just found the Montana Outdoor Podcast. Here, you'll discover the people and places that make Montana like no other place in the world. If you love to fish, hunt, or just enjoy creating your own adventure in the outdoors, you have come to the right place. The Montana Outdoor Podcast is brought to you by Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer, home of Boss Snowplows, CM Truck Beds, and Diamond Sea Trailers. Go to rmtte.com and see everything they have waiting for you online, or just come by 5680 Expressway in Missoula, and by Superior Hardwoods of Montana, delivering the highest quality lumber, paneling, flooring, and reclaimed wood products anywhere in North America. Let them guide you through the woods at their showroom in Missoula on Highway 93 South or at superior-hardwoods.com. Now, let's go discover Montana's great outdoors with your host, Downrigger Dale. Have a great show, buddy. Can't wait to hear it.
Thank you very much, Roger. And as Roger just explained, I am indeed Downrigger Dale with the Montana Outdoor Podcast and, of course, the Montana Outdoor Radio Show. A lot of you that watch this podcast and listen to it also into our Saturday morning show, which we do every Saturday morning all across the great state of Montana, of course, online all around the world. So if you haven't tried that out, do so. It is a lot of fun every Saturday morning. Also wanted to welcome in our active military that watch us on a regular basis. We are very honored that so many of you that are in the military right now, serving all around the world, will take time out to watch this podcast. And it is just an honor for us to have you along. Also want to thank all of our veterans across the great state of Montana and around the country for your service as well. Thank you all so much. Now, let's get into a topic that is probably my most emailed topic ever. I get the most emails from listeners about the topic of access and getting access during the hunting season, and really even during fishing too. It is something that's near and dear to all of us across the state, vitally important, and it certainly is with our friends at the Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. That has been one of their hallmarks, is trying to get access going. And I want to bring in a friend of mine that has been a huge help to this podcast and to our radio program. In fact, he participates in the radio program every Saturday morning and does great updates and things on what's going on. And that is my good friend, Greg Lemon. Greg, welcome to the Montana Outdoor Podcast. Good to have you back on with us.
Oh, yeah, it's great to be here, Dale.
Yeah, this is exciting in that you guys have always tried to increase access for hunters. Of course, you have the block management program, and those, we'll get into that a little bit. But one of the big things that you guys started a while back was the It's Up to Us campaign, talking about respecting access and protecting the hunt. And I really wanted to dive into that today with you. It's a wonderful program that I think is really starting to show some dividends here. And you guys have expanded it even more. And we're going to get into some really neat incentives for all of you hunters out there that are watching to get involved in the program. So first, Greg, let's start with you. Talk a bit about yourself for all of our new viewers and listeners that have joined the podcast, who you are, what you do for the FWP.
Yeah, so my name's Greg Lemon. So I am the head of the communication and education division. Under my broad division, we have our social media campaign, our video production unit, but also hunter education, bow hunter education, our aquatic education programs, Montana Wild, our education center here in Helena. All that is part of my division. It's a wonderful job to get to serve in that capacity in this part of the agency. But over the years, I've been with FWP almost 10 years. And before that, I was in the journalism world, newspaper business around the state. And one of the things that I heard when I was a reporter covering the outdoor beat around the state, and I can continue to hear, we got to the agency, is that the growing disconnect between hunters and landowners, and that disconnect would manifest itself with landowners being frustrated with hunter behavior. And they're seeing folks that are in their communities and driving up and down the county roads that they don't recognize. They've got out of state plates or out of the area license plates. They're just this sense that it's not the local hunters that they had got used to. And in that new dynamic, hunter behavior became a real focal point. And I think everybody knows that the vast majority of hunters do it the right way. They
yeah.
are responsible. Yeah, they hunt ethically, they're safe, they're responsible, they know the lay of the land. But man, just one bad apple can really cause a lot of problems. It's kind of odd and gross, quite honestly, to talk about. But one of the problems we hear about a lot is people leaving toilet paper in a pile at our block management sign-in boxes. It just takes one person doing that, and it really messes up the experience for everybody, messes up the experience for landowners. It causes all sorts of problems. Just one person doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing how in this case especially, we always hear that term, one bad apple can spoil the whole bunch, but this is so true because something like that, like I say, it's kind of gross. It just stands out so bad that it's just something that we got to get a handle on. Do you think that maybe some of this growing issue is due to a lot of new people that are moving into Montana? We have seen quite an influx of population coming in, and we hunting is really just part of our culture here in Montana. And I think for some people, they don't they're coming from places where it's just not as big a deal where they come from. And so some of it, I'm not trying to offend people, but some of it's just ignorance. They don't realize how this works.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that. I don't really know. I think that's definitely the other part of it. I grew up in Eastern Oregon, moved to Montana. Oh God, 25 years ago. No, longer than that. When I grew up in Oregon, I knew everybody. I knew all the places to go hunting, and I knew who owned them. And I kept my nose pretty clean. But if I hadn't of, the guy that owned the land knew that I was Terry Lemon's son, and he knew how to get a hold of my dad. And that's changed. But back then, we hunted places that we knew. And one of the things that's happened over in the last decade, at least, is there's really been a growth in the kind of do-it-yourself hunter. And a lot of the folks that on TV and on YouTube have really contributed a lot to people's knowledge about how to get out and go hunting, and their knowledge about the ways that they can do that. It used to be if you went out and set up hunting camp in Montana, it was a wall tent and a wood stove, and you had to have kind of a big outfit to get it out there. Now you can go out and set up hunting camp in a teepee and a titanium stove, and you can go wherever you want. It used to be, I think, in some parts of our state, you'd see some out-of-state hunters, but you hardly would ever see hunters from out of the region. And now that's flipped, where a lot of the hunters are out of state, a lot of the hunters are out of the region. And when those hunters make a plan to go hunting, man, it's tough. When you take the time off of work, you invest all this effort into planning it, and then the weather changes and it gets rainy or snowy.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to cancel that plan. And so we end up hearing from landowners a lot where, gosh, these guys are out here running around on the gumbo roads and they're rutting up the county roads. But the flip side of that, it's tough for landowners. They have to use those roads for their work. I mean, for their livelihood. But it's on the other hand, it's tough because, man, those hunters, they've put a lot of effort into those trip plans, and it's hard to cancel them because the roads aren't passable. And so there's just a lot of that change in our culture, in our society, that may be contributing to some of this ill will. And so sometimes the frustration is not just with the guy that leaves a pile of toilet paper at the sign-in box. It's just this broader sense that we got a whole bunch of people that aren't from around here running up and down the county roads, setting up camp in places where it's probably not a good idea to. And it's just a new dynamic on the landscape for sure.
Mhm. And that's really true. You brought up a really good point in that I think so often we get into all this planning, we're excited about it, we finally got the time off and that, and we can forget, especially when we get onto somebody else's land, that there's all these other factors that come into play, and often we don't put ourselves in that landowner's position. That, like you say, those ruts that you leave, they go, that's just the weather, that's what happens. They don't realize that can be a huge mess. I grew up on a cattle ranch, and I got into a really tough situation with my dad in that we had a very large ranch, and a lot of people in Western Montana wanted to hunt on it, and dad was really open to that. But all it took was one time. A hunter made a really bad decision and made a poor shot and shot one of dad's bulls, and that was the end. And of course, I'm living in this small town, and everybody's going, "What's up with your dad? Why can't we hunt there anymore?"
Yeah, and when I've talked to landowners, some of our block management landowners that I've talked to, I haven't talked to a ton of them, but I've talked to a few of them that they've been to that edge of saying, "Man, maybe this isn't worth it." They had a few bad experiences and they said, "Gosh, this is really tough. And the rules are really clear, and yet people are still pushing the boundaries, breaking the rules." But in the conversation I've had, what turns them around is when they see those kids and those families, they do follow the rules, that they go out and they have a good time. And they hear about that, kids getting their first deer, or dad, father, daughter having a great elk hunt or something like that. They start to realize that's why they're opening their land up to be able to have those kind of experiences. I promote that kind of heritage. And so as an agency, we've heard a lot about hunter behavior and hunter ethics over the years, but we really felt the only place that we could really make a difference, that was really in our purview to start really drilling in on, was that hunter landowner relationship.
Mhm.
And so that's where over the last several years, that's why we've really focused on this campaign and tried to expand it every year for the last 4 years. And so I don't know, you probably helped to talk about where we come
Yeah.
from and then what we're doing now. Yes.
That's what I was gonna say is out of all that, we'll move to the positive side of this discussion now, which is out of all that, the It's Up to Us program was born. And
Right.
what I love about this is this program allows you to really get in touch with what landowners deal with. So talk a bit
Yeah.
about the It's Up to Us program, how that got started and how people can now get involved.
Yeah. So we thought about it initially from a marketing campaign, a communication effort, and we wanted to have a slogan that stuck with people. Took us a couple of years to drill into where we're at now. And with help from some partners, we all put our heads together and they came up with this. Um, and so it's up to us, respect access, protect the hunt. We wanted to really communicate that access, a big component of access is hunter behavior, and our ability to do better and on the behavior standpoint, and also police ourselves, be responsible for the hunter behavior that you are also witnessing out there by reporting it or saying something, however you do it. But this idea that it's on a hunters to do better, I think was really key to this. And we've identified some sort of key aspects of it: planning ahead, asking early, all the things that people really know about. And it's just common sense. But a cornerstone of this program actually has been around for a while. It's the Hunter Landowner Stewardship Program. And that program started with FWT somewhere around 2000. And it's an education program, and it was needing some updating. And so what we did is we pulled the Hunter Landowner Stewardship Program into the It's Up to Us program, and we modernized it. It's a video-based education program that hunters can go through that program. They can pass the program. Their ALS account will have that program as a completed program, much like your Bear ID, for into perpetuity. And then And then over the last 2 years, we've been able to partner with folks. Last year, we partnered with Capital Sports here in Helena to give away, and Leopold to give away some binoculars. This year, hunters that take the test, the hunter-landowner stewardship program, hunters that pass that will get 3 months of an Onyx Elite membership. They'll get entered, and then they'll get entered into a raffle for a Weatherby Vanguard Black Hills rifle and a 6 a.m. outdoors, the Madison teepee from 6 a.m. outdoors, and some really great prizes. And it really shows, on my end, it really shows how important this program is, because the industry folks, when we talk to them, they say, oh yeah, like this, we absolutely want to be involved. They want to promote this. They want to promote good ethics. They want to promote responsible behavior in the field. And so it's been great to have that support this year.
Yeah. In fact, let's talk a bit about that. You guys have pulled in quite a few partners in this hunting ethics program. The Backcountry Hunters and Anglers are involved, Meal Eater, Montana Wildlife Federation, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Town Pump, Capital Sports. In fact, the first time I ever talked about this program was with Ed Beal of Capital Sports, and he came on and talked a bit about why he got involved. And
Right.
Montana Sportsman for Fish and Wildlife, you mentioned Onyx Hunt, SCI, Southwest Montana Chapter, Maven, Leopold, Montana Stock Growers Association, Pheasants Forever, VM Outdoors, and Weatherby. That's amazing, Greg, that you guys over really a fairly short amount of time have pulled in some awesome partners.
Right.
I love those incentives, and hopefully that punctuates the deal that, look, there's a lot of people investing in this that see the importance of it.
I think it helps, but I think the other piece that helps is also we're continuing to build. We've added new partners this year. We're continuing to push. So we started with a marketing campaign. Last year, we brought in really emphasize the hunter-landowner stewardship program, which is just to be clear, it's a program that really goes over some basic hunter safety, that goes over, you hear from landowners, both west side of the state and east side of the state, you hear from landowners about dealing with hunters and what their expectations are and what their experience has been. And then just some ethics. Really, we've got some game warden that comes in. We've got some landowners. We've got our hunter ed program manager. He's on there really trying to, it takes probably 20 minutes or so. We're not trying to stump anybody. We just want people to really go through it and think about it, brush up on all the stuff that they need to be an ethical and safe hunter and understand the landowner perspective.
Mhm.
And so that's the hunter-landowner stewardship program. The other thing we added 2 years ago was the Thank a Landowner portal.
And before we get
Yeah.
into that, Greg, let me
Yeah.
just jump in here. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and go into that. And also, folks, don't go away, because we also are going to tell you where you can find this program, how you can take the tests, and all that. So we'll do that right after we hear from my friends at Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer here. Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer. Truth is, the Montana Outdoor Podcast wouldn't exist without their incredible support. And if you've been enjoying these episodes each week, maybe it's time to support the folks who help make it happen. So here's the question. Do you need a trailer for work, for hauling gear to your next adventure? Or maybe a new truck bed to help keep your life organized, whether it's for work or play? Then go see the folks who already get what you're about. If you listen to this show, you've already got something in common with Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer. Like you, they love the outdoors. They work hard, and they're dang good at what they do. Their job? Helping people like you get your work done faster so you can get back out in Montana's great outdoors. Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer carries a full lineup of Diamond Sea trailers, gooseneck, equipment, dub trailers, you name it. Whether you're hauling a few supplies or towing the big stuff, Diamond Sea trailers are built to handle it all with reliability and ease. They also carry CM truck beds, the strongest, most durable truck beds around. Plus, they service everything they sell. Need your trailer rewired so the lights work the way they're supposed to? They'll take care of that too. Got a new truck? They'll get you set up with the accessories you need, installed and ready to roll. And don't wait until the last minute to schedule your trailer service. Do that ahead of time so your gear's ready to go when you are. They also stock a huge selection of parts for Boss snowplows, CM truck beds, and Diamond C trailers. And if it's not in stock, they'll find it. Need financing? They've got you covered there too. Need a gooseneck or fifth wheel hitch for that rodeo trip or family outing to the great outdoors? Yep, they install those too. Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer. They're in Missoula at 5680 Expressway. You can call them at 406-549-4243 or check them out online at rmtte.com. That's Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer, rmtte.com. Now let's get back to what Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer helped create, the podcast. Back here on the Montana Outdoor Podcast, Greg Lemon is my guest. We're talking about the hunter-landowner stewardship program. It's up to us, and it really is up to us. I love the name because it's exactly what we're talking about. And it's making a difference, folks. It really is. You guys have developed this video guide and a little test. Now, where can they find that?
Yeah, the direct link is fwp.mt.gov/it's up to us.
Okay.
That's the direct link, and that'll take you to the page. And from there, you can take the hunter-landowner stewardship program. It's really straightforward. Just click on the link, goes right into a program. You watch the video, answer some questions, and then at the end, you can get yourself entered to win some prizes.
Yeah. So it's that simple. And again, folks, right when you're done watching this, why not? You're already on your computer or cell phone or whatever. Click that link and head on over there and watch the video. About how long does it take to go through the whole thing, Greg?
It takes about 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. So that's not long at all. What would you say are some of the common mistakes that you think a lot of people make? Because some of it isn't intentional. It's just we didn't know. Talk about some of that.
Yeah, I think the biggest from our access program, the biggest mistake people make, it starts with not knowing the rules of the land. So every block management is our main access program, and let me tell you, we've got over 1,300 landowners involved in the program, nearly 7 million acres of private land that are in this program. So it's a gigantic program, and every block management area has its own rules. And so there's a lot of them that are the same, but there's a lot that are very unique. And so unique on which roads you can drive on, where you're supposed to park, where the sign-in boxes are, how you sign in. You don't just drive around on a county road, find a green sign that everybody knows that's a block management area sign, and just start hunting. That's just not how it works. And so one of the most common mistakes that people make is not being familiar with the block management rules of the place that they're hunting. And so that one's really easy. So if you're on Onyx, if you're using your Onyx app, you can get to the you get directly to the block management area PDF through your block management app. You can get to any of them through our website, through our hunt planner. You don't have to walk into an office and get one. You don't even have to get one at the sign-in box. Like, you can do all of this ahead of time. And so there's no excuse really not to know, but that is one of those things is that probably the most common is rules and then not knowing where you are. So where Onyx, apps like Onyx and our hunt planner really come in handy, is helping to tell you where you are. And so those are the two big ones.
And I'll get a link there in the podcast description. So again, when you're done, folks, just click on that link. It'll take you to the block management program, and then you can start to pull up all that stuff.
Yeah.
And really, what you're talking about, I think, just should be part of your normal everyday plan in your hunt, because what that really puts you ahead of the game on is when you're planning your hunt, which, by the way, I've got a link also in there to the hunt planner on FWP, which is a great tool. But when you're planning, you know what to expect before you get there.
That's right. And also when you know you know the roads you're supposed to drive on and you're not supposed to drive on. That ahead of time, it just saves you all sorts of headache and hassle and potentially breaking the rules and getting in trouble with a game warden and the landowner when you get out there. And it's it seems obvious, but when you get out on the land and you look, it's one thing to look at it on Onyx or look at it on a map. Then you get out there. If you didn't have a plan, it'd be easy to be like, it sure looks like this road ought to be open, and it may not be. And that's a common error people make when they're hunting private land.
Right now, we're starting our series of all these different regions around the state. And I started this last year and it was really popular with all of you. And I thank you for all the great emails. But we're doing it again where you're going to be able to get that little preview of what's going on in each region. Since a lot of us now are branching out and thinking about other places to hunt, this is part of that. And of course, I'll always have these links there during each of those podcasts as well.
Yeah. And the last thing anybody wants to do when they're hunting is to get into some sort of a conflict, to tick off a landowner or get in trouble with the warden. Like nobody wants with that. You want to know where you're going, what you're doing, how your access is going to go. Like you want all of that done ahead of time. So when you get out there, all you have to worry about is hunting.
Mm-hmm. Now, you guys even sweeten the pot a little more with this, which I was kind of excited when I saw this because I do a little college football. You guys have put together a Bobcat package and a Grizzly package. Talk a little more about that and what's going to happen there as a yet another incentive to get people to go through the program.
Yeah, we've been partnering with Learfield Sports and both universities over this is the third year to promote It's Up to Us with the fall football season. And this year, both schools are going to be giving away tickets. There's a sweepstakes so people can get entered to win a bunch of prizes, tickets to some events. Yeah, the easiest way to get through that is to get on our Facebook page. We're going to be posting and sharing that all through the sweepstakes. And then this is all going to culminate. This is really cool. We're partnering with universities, Learfield Sports, and then Town Pump has stepped up as a primary sponsor for the Brawl of the Wild. So they're going to step up and help us out too. We're giving away 2,000 Hunter Orange vests. So vests, you can use them in the field.
Yeah.
Hunting vests at the Brawl of the Wild this year. And so we'll be giving away 2,000 vests in partnership with Town Pump and the college. And so it's been great. Again, the support is it's not only from the hunting community in the hunting industry. Town Pump and the colleges see the value in this too, and they're getting behind it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks big time to Town Pump for that. There's some great incentives here, folks, to do this. And again, once you get to the video and take the test, I really think you're going to have some light bulbs come off in your head to go, oh, okay, I get what they're doing here. The whole idea behind this is we gain more access. And I know you guys have grown the block management program a great deal. We're into the millions of acres. But the idea is if we all do things right out in the field, we're going to get more of that.
Yeah, that's the idea. And certainly it's the hope to increase access and increase participation in our access programs, but also not lose access,
Exactly.
not have these places shut down because they're tired of dealing with hunters. It just takes thinking ahead on some things, and like all that we've talked about. And before we get away from all of it, I want to also bring up, and this is part of what part of our It's Up to Us program is to be thankful. And one of the things that came up to me a few years ago is I went out and harvested an elk on a block management area. And and a guy was sitting around over the winter enjoying some elk steaks and thinking, how to say thanks. It's a block management area. You don't have to sign in. You just go and all of that, which is great. So you don't almost need to think about it. But golly, it was their graciousness at having their land open for access allowed me to shoot that elk. And it got me thinking, there's probably some connections that used to be more obvious and used to be a little easier to make that are a little more difficult now, as I think a lot of our folks feel a little disconnected from from the landowner community. A lot of the hunters are. And so I thought, why don't we build a portal on the website where people can go and drop a note of thanks. They can figure out where they were hunting and then say, thanks for the experience. You upload a picture. So we call it the Thank a Landowner portal, and it's part of It's Up to Us program. And first year, we were blown away. We got 600 people that sent in thank you notes.
That was on the first year, 600?
Yeah. And last year we had over 1,000 people. And we print out all the thank you notes, and we print out all the pictures, and then we mail them. So FW, we do that on our side. Our role in this is to get them all to the landowners, and we send them in a hard copy with a little note from the director. And the response has been fantastic. Landowners, you just can't believe some of the letters that we get. People that were out there, a dad out there with his kid up for the first time, and here's the grip and grin of a 12-year-old girl, and she's so excited to have her first deer. Like, they experience the moment made possible because the landowner has opened their land to access, and being able to make those connections too with that Thank the Landowner portal. My hope is that just continues to grow and grow, because it's just so easy to get on the website and just drop a note of thanks.
We're going to take one last break. When we come back, we'll go through and give you a few more just real quick reminders of how to get involved in that. And a big one here is doing that thank you thing, because I think you've hit on something so perfect, Greg, in that a lot of people want to thank, they just don't know how. And now here's a wonderful portal to do it. So we'll do that right after this. They say they don't make them like they used to, but at Superior Hardwoods of Montana, that's the whole point. This isn't just a lumber yard. We're talking about 11 acres of reclaimed wood. Wall paneling, flooring, trim, beams, slabs, you name it. Every single piece has a story behind it. Old barns, historic homesteads, long-forgotten factories. This wood has been places, and now it can be part of your story too. Maybe you're building a home, remodeling a room, or just putting together that dream project you've had on the back burner. Superior Hardwoods of Montana can help bring it to life. They can even custom mill it to fit your exact vision, because real craftsmanship never goes out of style. And here's the thing, you're not just getting character and beauty when you choose reclaimed wood, you're reclaiming American history. You're giving something old a brand new chapter with values that never go out of style. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Whether you're a contractor, a weekend DIYer, or someone who just loves a one-of-a-kind piece of wood, Superior Hardwoods is open to the public and ready to help. Exotic woods, live edge slabs, pre-finished and unfinished flooring, it's all in stock and ready to go. Need help picking out the right material? Just ask. Their team has been doing it since 1977, and they know how to guide you through the woods, literally and figuratively. Swing by their beautiful showroom at 5120 Highway 93 South in Missoula, or check them out online at superior-hardwoods.com. I promise you, you'll leave inspired. That's Superior Hardwoods of Montana. Local, knowledgeable, family-run, and ready to help you build something that lasts. Let them help guide you through the woods at superior-hardwoods.com. Superior Hardwoods of Montana. Go see him. Back here on the Montana Outdoor Podcast, I'm with Greg Lemon from Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, and we're talking about the It's Up to Us program, talking about access and the wonderful things that you guys, Greg, have continued to grow this program to make it multifaceted, to really connect hunters and landowners in a positive way. And one of those you were mentioned about being able to thank the landowner. Again, where do they go to be able to get onto that portal? So after you've had that great hunt and you go, man, I'd love to thank that landowner for this wonderful access, how do they do it?
Yeah, you go to fwp.mt.gov/it's up to us, and it's the same place where you go for the hunter-landowner stewardship program. It's right there. It's the Thank a Landowner portal, and you can do it anytime. It doesn't. We cut things off at the end of mid-February when kind of all the seasons close down, and then we start compiling stuff. But you can go on there now, and we're ready to roll with this year's portal. So yeah,
Yeah.
just leave a note of thanks. You get to pick, you can pick what ranch you were on or block management area you were on, and then you can upload a photo and of your experience. And man, it means a lot for landowners to hear that gratitude.
And I love the idea that you can share the picture with them, and that makes a big difference. I know, like, when I was involved in 4-H and FFA, we used to do the big livestock sale at the end at the fair, and I'd get to sell my steer to the public. And they started a similar thing where they took your picture with your steer and they would send that to the buyer. What I noticed was you start going into all these different businesses, they were proud of it. They would put it right up in their business. It meant a lot to them. So I really like this idea of being able to send that picture too. I think a lot of farmers and ranchers would love to see how you did.
Yeah, and I think one common theme that I hear from landowners is that they're happy to be part of the community of hunters, and that they see when they participate in these programs, they don't do it because they get some money from the agency. They do it because they this is a way that they can continue to contribute to be part of this culture in Montana, which hunting is a central part of that culture. Well, there's connecting people to the outdoors. It's really my passion. It takes a community, right? It takes people that can teach people about going to the outdoors. Takes people that are able to bring kids and mentor people in the outdoors. And it takes landowners. In Montana, 64% of the land is private. It takes landowners that want to participate and allow access to be able to continue the outdoor heritage that makes Montana what it is. That it's just that simple. And so for us, it's really obvious working with landowners and hunters is right where we need to be to make sure that outdoor and that hunting heritage continues on for my kids' generation and their kids' generation and beyond.
And it connects that partnership together because really there is a partnership there. Hunters, some of them are landowners. A lot of landowners love to hunt. We all have this in common. Now there's a way we can be connected, be able to communicate, thank each other, but most importantly, it allows the hunters to really understand what the landowners are doing and what they're about too. Now, I really hope all of you that are watching will email me back. I'll also have a link to so you can email Greg with any questions or that. But I really hope you'll let us know your thoughts on this because I know you guys want to continue to grow this, right?
Well, yeah, we're not going to rest on where we're at now. We've been working. We work hard in the winter and the spring to get this set up for the fall, and we're going to continue to work on incentives, work on building the partnership up, work on communicating it out through partners. You guys are a great partner as well, and this is going to really help. And this year, I think you'll see a little more. Some of our partnerships will, I think, be able to see some influencers out there in the hunting world that are going to be able to promote this. And but yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what's a realistic expectation. And it's hard to know like how you're doing it. It's hard to evaluate because we're talking about behavior and feelings and it's hard to evaluate. But man, if we can start to hear people, landowners and hunters alike saying, I'm not seeing the conflict. I'm not seeing the trash. I'm not seeing those incidences that I used to. That'd make me feel really good that we've been able to chip away at this.
Yeah, I agree. And lastly, what I'll throw out there is when you come across some of that bad behavior, even though you weren't the one that did it, if you can go ahead and just pick up the trash or whatever and do that, yeah, it's not your problem, but it certainly can become your problem if that's there. So picking that up, and if you want a pat on the back, let us know. I'm more than happy to say, hey, huge thank you to this guy for picking up what the last guy didn't do. But yeah, do that proactive thing because if we do this right, there's going to be a day, Greg, where that dream is going to come true for you guys, and that suddenly you just don't have the complaints anymore.
Yeah, boy, I sure hope so. And I also add to that too, one of the parts of it's up to us is reporting violations. And so we have an online system. To report a violation, you go to tipmont.mt.gov. You can get the warden's phone number and text him, call him or her with a violation. And I encourage you, if you're out there, you've done your work and you go out to that block management area and you know you're following the rules and you see somebody that's not, just call a warden. Just say, hey,
Yeah.
no, this ain't right. And it's really important that we do that because that shows the landowner. I've got hunters that are out there that are taking my stuff seriously. They're taking the responsibility to safeguard my land and my rules. That's really important. And so if we can get all the good ethical hunters also being willing to report when they see violations and black management area rules being broken, that's going to go a long way too.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my favorite stories, a captain and I were out fishing and we took a landowner fishing for the big king salmon out on Fort Peck. And he had never done it before and he had a great time. But we were sitting around after a long day of fishing and he said, I had an interesting thing happen to me is this guy got done hunting. He came into the main yard there and he said, I got a bunch of trash here. I'm just wondering if you got a trash can somewhere. I wanted to throw that away. And he goes, oh, yeah. Did you have just a bunch of it in your truck or something? He goes, no, I found it out there on your land when I was hunting. I just picked it up. And he said, I could not believe that. And he said, I invited the guy in the house for a drink. I just thought it was so neat that he did that. He didn't have to. So it really made an impression on him. So
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Those kind of stories, man, if we can get those to multiply, tell the story. That's something we're trying to do too, is tell more of those good stories and get good behavior to really blossom. I think that positivity is going to really pay dividends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for you landowners that are listening, by all means, send me an email or click the link below there and send Greg one and let us know your stories too. We'd love to hear it. And let's, like you say, it's up to us. Let's do it. Anything else before we go, Greg?
No, that's really it. I appreciate all the time to be able to talk about the program and the importance that it holds with the agency. And yeah, this has been fantastic. Thank you.
You bet. And folks, there you have it. Just go to the podcast description area. Like if you're watching on YouTube right now, it's usually just below where the play button is, and you can click the little thing that says more and expand that. And then you can read about the podcast, of course. But down below, you'll see in bold letters links. And just right there will be all those links that Greg and I just talked about. And you can go there and come and get involved and do it. I'd just love to see it, because the more we do this, the better it is for all of us. Greg, thanks again for being part of the Montana Outdoor Podcast. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, folks. Again, be sure and send us your emails. Let us know how things went, what you thought of this podcast. And of course, stay tuned. We've got more of those great regional podcasts giving you all kinds of previews of what that hunting season's looking like for every region around the state. So hope you'll tune into those. Until then, folks, take care out there. Be good to each other, and we'll see you next time on the Montana Outdoor Podcast.
Thanks for watching the Montana Outdoor Podcast. You know, there's no way we could do this podcast without the incredible support of sponsors like Superior Hardwoods of Montana, home of the largest selection of in-stock, high-end wood products and flooring in the western United States. Let them guide you through the woods at superior-hardwoods.com. And of course, Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer in Missoula, home of Boss Snow Plows, CM Truck Beds, and Diamond Sea Trailers. Go see them on the web at rmtte.com. We'd love to hear what you thought of this week's podcast. When you get a minute or two, shoot us an email and tell us your thoughts. Same goes if you have any questions for Rigger or this week's guest. Just send your questions or comments to downrigger@montanooutdoor.com. Hey, don't forget we should be dropping a new podcast this next Saturday. Until then, gang, we hope to see you soon out in Montana's great outdoors.